Now we will do one numerical problem on the topic of three moments theorem that we discussed in the previous video. Now we are going to take the case of continuous beams with simple support ends. So we are not going to take any fixed support, we are going to take simply supported ends. Now the question is, a continuous beam ABC 10-meter long rests on three supports A, B and C at the same level and is loaded as shown in figure. So this is the continuous beam that we have. It is subjected to a point load of 3 kN and a UDL of 1 kN per meter on the span AB and BC respectively. These are the lengths. Now we have to determine the moments over the beam and we have to draw the bending moment diagram. Also, we have to calculate the reactions at the supports and draw the shear force diagram. So first of all, we will draw the bending moment diagram. If you remember, the the total bending moment diagram of a continuous beam is the summation of, or is the superposition of, the free bending moment diagram and the end moment diagrams. So first of all, we will draw the free bending moment diagram. In order to draw the free bending moment diagram, we take individual spans and then convert them into simply supported spans, okay? And then apply the same external load that is given on the question and then find out the values of the bending moment. So if you see this beam which is given in the question, this beam has two spans AB and BC. So first of all, we are going to take the AB span. So we have taken AB span. Now convert both the ends of AB into simple supports. So these are simple supports and apply the same loading of 3 kN on this beam. So we have applied the same loading at same distances. So 2 meters from A and 4 meters from B. Now we know that for this type of arrangement, that is when a point load acts at different distances from the two supports of a simply supported beam, the maximum bending moment is under the load. So at point D, the maximum bending moment will occur and the value of the maximum bending moment is PAB upon L. Now just put the values. The value of load is 3, A is this value, B is this distance. So 2 into 4, this divided by total length of AB 6. So you will get 4 kilonewton meter. Now we will take span BC. Now same, convert BC into simply supported beam and apply the same loading as given in the question, which is 1 kilonewton per meter. Now we know that whenever a simply supported beam is subjected to a UDL, the maximum bending moment is a parabolic is of parabolic profile and it occurs at the midspan of the beam. So the maximum bending moment will occur at the midspan. Suppose the midspan is at E point. So ME, we know the value is WL square by 8. So just put the values. UDL is 1. The total length of the beam is 4. So 1 into 4 whole square. This divided by 8 will give you 2 kilonewton meter. Now in order to draw the bending moment diagram, see, just draw the beam ABC with the appropriate lengths as given in the question. Now, if you will look at the question, we know that A, B and C are what? Simple supports. See, we have considered all the supports as simple supports and the value of the bending moment at the simple supports is 0. So MA, MB and MC will be 0 for free bending moment diagram. Now, at D point, the value came out to be 4 kilonewton meter. So from D point, draw a point at a height of 4 kilonewton meter. So suppose this point is this point, okay? Now we know that whenever a point load acts on a simply supported beam, the bending moment diagram is of straight line. So now join A to this point and this point to B point with a straight line. So this is your free bending moment diagram for the span AB. Now let's come to the span BC. So for BC span, the value of the bending moment, maximum bending moment, we know that will occur at point E. So from E point, that is the midspan of BC, draw a point at a height of 2 kilonewton meter because ME is 2 kilonewton meter. Now join B to this point and this point to C point with a parabolic line. So this diagram will give you the free bending moment diagram for the span BC. So this total diagram is a free bending moment diagram for the beam ABC. See, now if you remember, in three moments equation, we have terms capital A1 into small a1 and capital A2 into small a2. So capital A1 into small a1 is, see, capital A1 is the area of the bending moment diagram of the free bending moment diagram of the span AB, and capital A2 is the free bend area of the free bending moment diagram of the span BC, and small a1 is the distance of the centroid of the area of free bending moment diagram of span AB from the support A, and small a2 is the distance of the CG of CG of A2 from the support C. So now we will find out the values of capital A1 into small a1 and capital A2 into small a2. Now, if you see span AB can be divided into two triangles. So let's first take this triangle. So the area of this triangle will be half base into height. So half base of this triangle, small triangle, is 2, and the height of this smaller triangle is 4. Into small a1 is the distance of the CG of this triangle from A support. So we know that the CG of the triangle from its apex is 2 by 3 of the base. So 2 by 3 of 2 will be the perpendicular distance, that is small a1. Now let's see the second triangle of this span AB. So the area of this triangle will also be half base into height into the perpendicular distance of the CG of this triangle from support A. So see, we know that the CG of the triangle from its base is, if you see this triangle, so the distance of the CG from the base will be 1 by 3 of 4. Now we have to calculate the distance of the CG of this triangle, that is this CG from A support. So the total distance will be, if I add 2 in this 1 by 3 plus 4, I will get the total distance of this CG from the support A. So the perpendicular distance will be this. So 2 plus 1 by 3 into 4 meters. So this is your perpendicular distance. So after solving, capital A1 into small a1 will come out to be 32. Now let's come to the second span, that is BC. So capital A2 is the area of this parabola. See, the area of this shape is 2 by 3rd of the area of the rectangle. See, if I will draw a rectangle here like this, the area of the parabola is 2 by 3rd of the area of this rectangle. So the area will be A2 will be 2 by 3 of area of the rectangle will be 2 is the height and the length is 4. So 2 into 4. Now the CG of this parabola will obviously be at the center, and therefore the distance of CG from the C support will be 2 meters. So therefore into small a2 will be into 2. So the value will come out to be 32 by 3. Now we know that, see, we know that the three moment equation is ma into L1 upon I1 plus 2mb L1 upon I1 plus L2 upon I2 plus mc L2 upon I2, this equal to minus 6 a1 into small a1, this divided by I1 L1 minus 6 a2 a2 capital A2 into small a2, this divided by I2 into L2. See, in the equation, if you remember, we also had the terms HA and HC. So HA and HC were the see, if suppose there is a settlement, then we have to take HA and HC, and because in the derivation we assume that the support B, it yielded through a distance, through some distance, and the height of the A point from the B support was HA and the height of the C point from the B support was HC. So therefore you have to take HA and HC term in this equation only if the supports are yielding or if the supports settle. Okay, in this question we are not given that the supports are settling or they are yielding, so we will not take those terms containing HA and HC. So this will be your final three moment equation. Now the moment of inertia, that is capital I, is same for both the spans AB and BC. So I1 will be I2 equal to I, so we will take them as I. Now since A and C are simply supported, see, if you see this diagram, if you see the diagram in the continuous beam in the question, In the supports A and C, these are simple supports, and at the simple supports the bending moment is 0. Okay, so MA and MB, the value of MA and MC, sorry, will be 0. Now put MA and MC equal to 0 and put all the values, and we will get MB equal to minus 2.4 kilonewton meter. Okay, see here L1 will be the span of AB and L2 will be the span of BC. So the value of MB will come out to be minus 2.4 kilonewton meter. So now we have calculated the value of MB. Now we have to draw the shear force diagram. So, and in the question also it is given that we have to find the support reactions also. So in order to find the support reactions, see, so this was a beam that we were given. Now we have found the value of the bending moment at B point. So MB is equal to minus 2.4 kilonewton meter. See, now MB, that is the bending moment at B, is the summation of the moments to the right of B, to the left of B or to the right of B. So now we will see, we can write MB as the summation of a moment either to the left of B or to the right of B. So we will take one by one both of these parts, that is the left part and the right part. So first of all we will take the left part of B. So we know that MB is equal to minus 2.4. Now MB is also the summation of the moments on the left side of B. So if you see the left side of B, there are only two forces, RA and 3. So if you see RA is acting in the upward direction. So this RA will produce a clockwise bending moment about B. And if the left moment is clockwise, the bending moment is positive. So this value will be positive. So plus RA into perpendicular distance of RA from B point is 6. So 6 RA. Now if you see, this load is acting in the downward direction. So this load will produce an anti-clockwise bending moment about B point, and if the left moment is anti-clockwise, the bending moment is negative. So this will be minus. So the load is 3 and the perpendicular distance of 3 from B point is 4. So this will be minus 4 into 3, that is, now this will be equal to, we already know the value of MB, that is minus 2.4. Now put this equation, solve this equation, we will get the value of R equal to 1.6 kilonewton. Now MB will also be equal to the summation of the moment to the right side of B. So now we will take the right side of B portion. So MB can also be written as C. RC is acting in the upward direction, so this RC will produce an anti-clockwise bending moment about B point. And if the right moment is anti-clockwise, the bending moment is positive. So this will be plus, the perpendicular distance of RC from B point is 4. So 4 into RC. Now if you will see this UDL is acting in the downward direction. So this UDL will produce a clockwise bending moment about B point. So for, see, if the right moment is clockwise, the bending moment is negative. So this moment will be negative, so minus. Now convert UDL into point load. So 1 into the distance, that is 4. So 1 into 4 will be your point load, and this 1 into 4 will act at the center of 4. Therefore, the perpendicular distance of that point load from the B point will be 4 by 2, that is 2. So 1 into 4 is your load and 4 by 2 is your perpendicular distance. Now this equal to minus 2.4. On solving, the value of RC will come out to be 1.4 kilonewton. Now, see, now we have found out the value of the reaction at A and the reaction at C. Now we have to find out the value of the reaction at B point. So if you see this beam, we can take the summation of all the vertical forces is equal to 0. So total upward force is equal to total downward force. Now if you see this diagram, total upward forces RA plus RB plus RC. And now this will be equal to total downward force. So total downward force is 3 plus UDL, convert this UDL into 4, so 1 into 4. So 3 plus 4, that is 7. So we can write summation vertical forces equal to 0. So RA plus RB plus RC, this equal to 7. Now we already know the value of RA and RC, so put the values of RA and RC. So we will get the value of RB, which is 4 kilonewton. See, now we have to draw the shear force diagram. So we will start from the left end. So if you see at point A, RA is acting in the upward direction. If the left force, see, we are going to take the sign convention for the shear force. So Ra was acting in the upward direction. So if the left force is upward, the shear force is positive. So this will be plus Ra, and the value of Ra is 1.6 kilonewton. Now, now we will take at section just to the left of D point. Okay. So if you will see, if you will take a section just to the left of D point, and so on the left portion of the of the D section, there is only one force, that is Ra, and it is acting in the upward direction. And if the left force is in the upward direction, the shear force will be positive. So just to the left of D, it will be plus Ra, and the value of Ra is plus 1.6 kilonewton. Now, if we will come to the point D point. See, at D point now one downward load of 3 kilonewton is also acting. Now at D point, a downward load of 3 kilonewton is also acting. So if the see, if we will take a section just to the right of D, there are two forces Ra and 3 kilonewton. Ra is upward and 3 kilonewton is in the downward direction. So if the left is upward, it is positive, and so Ra will be positive, that is plus 1.6, and 3 is in the downward direction. If the left force is downward, the shear force will be minus, so minus 3. So the value of Vd will come out to be minus 1.4 kilonewton. Now let's come to the next point, that is B. So we will take just to the left of B. Now we will take a section just to the left of B. So if you will take a section just to the left of B, and see, if we are taking a section just to the left of B, this RB will not be included. Now if we will see the left part of this section, there are only two forces, Ra and 3. Ra is upward, so 1.4 is upward, sorry, 1.6 is upward, and 3 is downward, so this will be minus. So the value of the shear force at a section just to the left of B will be same, and 1.6 minus 3, that is minus 1.4 kilonewton. Now if we will come to the point B, a vertical reaction Rb is also acting in the upward direction. So if the left force is upward, the shear force is positive. So at B plus 4 will be added. So the shear force will become 2.6 kilonewton. Now let's come to the point C point. So if you will take C point, now all the loads are included. Now take the summation of all these forces according to the sign convention. So the summation of all these forces according to the sign convention will give you the value of Vc as minus 1.4 kilonewton. And now we will plot all the values. See, at A point the value of the shear force has come out to be 1.6. So plus 1.6. So we will plot the positive values above the axis. So at A plus 1.6. Now just to the left of D point, it is also plus 1.6. So mark a point at 1.6 and join these 2 points by a straight line. Now at point D, the value has gone down to minus 1.4. So below this axis, mark 1.4. Now join these 2 points by a straight line. Now just to the left of B, the values is still minus 1.4. So just to the left of B, the values is still minus 1.4. Now join these 2 points by a straight line, and at B, when we came to point B, the value increased to 2.6 plus 2.6. So we will plot a point above the axis, that is 2.6 above the axis. So now join these 2 points by a straight line, and if we go to the point C, the value was coming out to be minus 1.4. So plot a point, minus means below the axis 1.4, and join these 2 points by a straight line. See, if you remember, the shear force for a point load and for the UDL is a straight line. So whether it is a UDL or it is a point load, the shear force diagram is going to be a straight line diagram. So after joining these points and plotting the values and joining these points, we will get the shear force diagram. Now one thing was left, and that is to draw the resultant bending moment diagram. And we know that the resultant bending moment diagram is equal to the superposition of the free moment diagram and the end moment diagram. So the free movement diagram was coming out to be like this. Now we will come to the end movement diagram. See, if you see the continuous beam, the value of MA and MC was 0. Okay, because they are simply supported ends. So the value of the bending moments is 0 at the simple support, and the value of MB was coming out to be minus 2.4. So join these points by a straight line, we will get the end moment diagram. Now see, superimpose these two diagram. So after superimposing, we will get this type of diagram. So this was a free movement diagram, and this was the end moment diagram. See, now the area of these two diagrams, these two bending moment diagrams, which are coinciding, which are you can say overlapping, these two areas will nullify each other, and the remaining portion will give you the resultant bending moment. So this portion and this portion are overlapping, so these areas will nullify each other. Therefore, the remaining portion, this portion, and this portion will be the resultant bending moment diagram.